Submission. Oh my gosh. That word, as a young woman, and I can tell you, I grew up with a father that was a little bit hard to handle. And so submitting to men was already a big stony place in my heart. So when I would read that verse and it was Paul, I would say, well, I'm not listening to Paul. He doesn't understand women. And I just dismissed that. Everything that Paul wrote, I was like, I'm not reading that part of the Bible. And I just hated that word. And so over the years, I have learned so much about that word. I've learned that if I don't submit to God, nothing can change. So the first thing is to submit to God. And we've been talking about that. If God is God, then I have learned, wow, if he's really God and I'm not God, then I can submit to him. And so that was my first step, just humbling myself before the Lord. But I do remember I read a humbling verse too, like humble yourself before the Lord. I said, well, I don't really feel good about that, God. I don't really want to do that. It took a while to feel peaceful, but this is what I want you guys to know is that he changed my heart. I was honest. I mean, I told him it's just going to be hard for me to humble myself. And then he started showing me that it didn't have to be hard. And then I chose that he would humble me and he would teach me to submit to him. And so as I learned to submit to God and trust him, that changed my relationship with trusting Lee. I learned that Lee is set in a position in my family as the priest and king of my household. It's a holy position. Lee wasn't always holy, but the position that God placed him in over me is holy. And through that position, he protects me and watches over me. Then I learned this hypotasso is what the word submit comes from. It's a word used in the armies back 2,000 years ago to put yourself in order so you could go into battle. We are in a battle. Somebody is trying to kill and steal and destroy us. His name is Satan. He doesn't have any power over us when we're keeping ourselves under the protection of God, but we are in this battle to not listen to the words that he speaks into us and to listen to God's word and to speak God's word. So when I heard that, it was like, oh, that is great. I am getting myself ordered for the battle. It's not detracting from me. Submitting to God has never taken one thing away from me. It has only made me stronger. It's only given me more gifts to share with other people. So where the world says that when we submit, it takes something away, I just want you to know that in God's kingdom, we are more when we understand submission. Submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee. And one submission is to submit to your husband. Guess what? Your husband's supposed to submit to you too. It's both ways.